second winning draw between Camarena from San Francisco, the area curling club, taking on Team Feldman from Wine Country Curling. Team Camarena had the better draw shot challenge, and so they are going to be throwing first as they get their rocks set up. We are also going to keep you up to date on the action on the other shoots. However, if you do want to keep track of the other games based on the scoreboard, you can go to bondstealer.com. Bondstealer.com has the line scores from this event being generously updated by volunteers. And it is a project that was developed for the San Francisco Curling Club. So we definitely appreciate their work. And if you enjoy, you find the benefit from their work, they do it for donations. So it looks like we're about ready to get started here. As we're doing a final mop, so we'll be right with you on that. Just to kind of let you know about what the other games are. On Shoot 1, we have a men's game between Team Dutch from Wine Country Curling taking on Team Howell from Hollywood. Shoot 2 again is a features game between Team Camarena and Team Feldman. Shoot 3 is a men's A-pool action between Team Meyer from San Francisco taking on Team Bunk from Hollywood. And then on Shoot 4 is a women's B-pool action. Team Walsh from San Francisco taking on Team Umali from Hollywood. So we will keep you up to date on those games as they happen, as we get some final mopping going on. This last draw went a little late, but looks like we are getting started close to on time here, just after 9 on East Coast. Happy to be here, as I said. This is the first of 4 days of curling action coming to you live from San Francisco Bay Area Curling. We're going to have feature cut first through to the finals on Sunday at noon. So, pretty exciting. And it looks like there's the bell. So we are going to be just about ready to get started here. As I mentioned, I alluded to pools. We have just an unprecedented number of in the event, and that pools. We had 18 men's teams, and we had 8 women's teams. So we are doing full play. The top 2 teams from each pool will advance to the playoff round, and each team gets at least 3 games at least. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. We definitely have some top teams that have established themselves over the years in MoPac, the region and in the U.S. I have a complaint about the mic. Let's see if I can get that working better. There is a fan going on, but I don't know if that's... I apologize. It looks like Team Feldman's at the camera. I will fix that. Looks like Feldman has a shot to the house. This is the second stone coming from Camarera's first lead, and that would be Garfinkel, who was a international winner of the 2018 Pacific International Cup, otherwise known as the PIC, from Richmond, British Columbia. He was also at the 2020 Winter World Masters Games in Tbilisi, Austria. In the 2016 Plus at Wine Country Curling, A bracket winner, and has 8 years of curling experience. picked Dobre, who started curling in 2017 and instantly fell in love with the sport. Feldman sitting second shot, while Camarena has two stones. This is the first stone from Camarena's second, and that would be Sina Shah doing second stones. She has less than 1 year curling experience, so she is new to the game. Takes that yellow stone over to the center. Definitely going to be looking into the sound situation. Please hear that hit. See what I can do. Second shot from Sina. Feldman is suddenly sitting two in the house. So we're going to get one. It's a nose hit and stick. We're second now with Feldman sitting one. And so it definitely is lining up for Feldman to potentially get a juice with this first shot. I think he's going to kind of take care of business. If they keep a clean sheet, they will get two. That was the first drop from Camarera's third. That's Sabastinka Tandurai. She's known as Subs, and I will definitely call her Subs for the rest of the night. She competed in 7 different Alberta provincials over 4 years. Third stone came from Leon Steering, who's a Canadian who had never curled in Canada. Fascinating. Jason is sitting one. This Subs second shot. Got rid of the Feldman yellow. So that end kind of turned around pretty quickly for Camarera. They were Feldman was sitting one in the house, and now it's all of a sudden two for Camarena. So I switched mics, and hopefully that sounds better. I'm curious about why one of my mics is not working very well. I'll have to figure out what was going on with my other mic. Yeah, thanks, Eric, on the chat. Thanks for letting me know. Uh, it's we do try our best to put together a good product, and if we didn't have a if we didn't have feedback, sometimes it's hard to know where we can get better. But I really appreciate it. Um, so now it's Camarena sitting two for her first. Um, Adriana was at the 2022 Pan Continental Curling Championship B Division. She finished with a silver. Very impressive, especially for, I think, a first-time showing. She was also at the 2019 Emeritus Challenge in Eveleth, finishing with a silver. And then also at the 2019 World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship in Stavanger, Norway. And 12 years of primarily club curling experience. And let's see what she has dialed up here for her first rock. Looks like it's going to be a draw to the top of the house. Going to settle in, kind of biting the top four, actually full four, biting the button. So it looks like a pretty good shot, I would say. I mean, it's now shot rock, and so Feldman can make a play for it. Maybe kind of tap it back and be a sitting shot after this. Katie Feldman, I kind of work with her with several MoPac events, including the 5 and under event and the 25 and under event. And she competitively started curling in 2014 and has twice won bronze at Arena Nationals. She loves doubles curling, Taylor Swift, going to bonspiels, and people named Brian, which is great for her because that's her husband. She does not like wintry climates, even though Leanne drags her to them. Leanne is the third. And let's see what type of shots Katie has on tap. Just kind of based on it's hard to tell with where they had the broom. It looks like they are going for the hit. Again, kind of following the adage that you want to put the broom next to the first rock you want to hit. And so her shot is underway. Swoopers are on it. Says it needs to curl. So they got one, but they're going to lose the shooter. So now, again, Camarena is sitting two. I think really a really good position considering the fact that they don't have the hammer in this end. And it looks like Camarena didn't waste any time getting back to the hack to get set up for her shot. I think I think they're going to kind of block the center, like top of the house. Just based on where they have the broom. This side of the sheet starting out was kind of tricky for the last game. I'm kind of curious to see how it works for a draw shot this game. And Jen in the chat does point out among the people named Brian that Katie, I'm sure, loves is her son, Brian Jr. So there's two Brians very first and foremost in her life. So this shot from Camarena looks to be just a little bit deep. However, the force is going to be on. Essentially, Katie Feldman needs to draw the full 4 foot to be forced to 1, and that is the best outcome here for Team Feldman as they look to line things up here. So it looked like that shot. Looks like the line was pretty good for Camarena. It just was a little deep. It would have. I think if it was just a smidge lighter, it would have ended up kind of top 8 foot would have been fine. I think, and then the chance to steal would have been very prime for Team Camarena. So the shot that Feldman has lined up is looks like a simple draw, and ideally Skip has a draw in their pocket, just ready to drop at any moment to secure a point in a situation like this. Feldman's last shot is away. Sweepers are just walking with it right now, happy with the line. Now sweepers are on it. Just need full 4 foot. There's not really any backing, although there is some backing actually. I take that back. So more of a not a draw really, but like a soft weight takeout for the one. And so Team Feldman was forced to one here in the first end over Team Camarena. We will be back in just a moment with more coverage. We will go around the rings to see how the other games are going once we have at least a little bit more game in the books. But we will definitely go around the rings as the evening progresses. Live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 18 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit mopacca.org today to find a curling club near you or for help getting one started in your community. All right, Rocks in play. We are underway here in the second end of our feature game tonight between Team Camarena of San Francisco Bay Area Curling and Team Feldman of Wine Country just outside of Sacramento. This is tonight's NorCal Clash. Uh, looking for some bragging rights, I would hope. And Eric just mentioned Brian Proud. I'm not as familiar with that Brian, but yeah, there's a lot of Brians in her life, and I guess it's good that she values them all. So this is the first shot coming for Camarena's lead, Ms. Garfinkel. She has 12 years of curling experience, mostly in arena clubs, with lots of travel and bonspiel experience. Just some notes about this game. This is an event that leads to a berth at Club Nationals, and so as such, we are playing with championship caliber type rules. That includes the funky orange brush covers, which are known for their general not super effectiveness, to help make sure that the skill of the athlete is more prominent than the quality of the brush cover. You can see clocks in the background of the shot. We do have timers helping to keep track of the time. Each team is given a certain amount of time, and teams are also going to be given a 90-second timeout during regulation. They have another timeout available to them if it does go to an extra end. The 90 seconds is due partly because we have some coaches and alternates playing in the game. Team Camarena has an alternate, that's Gabriel Coleman, who went to U.S. Mixed Nationals as part of Team Maxi. And that was her return to curling after an 8-year break. She was in earlier competitive curling included going to the Olympic trials in 2009, and then plus 10 additional women's mixed and club national championships. So it's the depth of talent in this field is really impressive, and also the breadth of experience to see newer teams, up and coming teams, come out and take their shot and see how they fare against some of the best teams that our region has to offer. And it's really awesome to have this event. So next rock coming from Melissa McGuire. She started curling in 2018. She loves her dog Apollo and doing house projects, and then second guessing and regretting her decision as she should have just paid someone to do it. And I think we've all been there. This shot is going to settle into the top 8 there. And it's good enough for shot right there. Well, looks like there's a little bit of weight coming from Sima. Let's see what comes out here. Does hit out. It looks like it's going to roll to the side and stick around. So Camarena is sitting 2 right now with the hammer here in the second end. It looks like Feldman is going to draw in here. Sweepers are timing rocks to kind of keep track of how how fast the ice is. I timed a draw shot to the tee at about 14.7 seconds, which is, I think, fairly good for dedicated ice. This shot here looks like it's going to settle in for shots just outside the 4-foot along the left side there. And I think Camarena wants to make a play for it. Looks like some weight again. It needs to curl up a little bit. I think they're sweeping to try and push it over, try and urge it over. Looks like it's not going to get there, unfortunately. So that would be a miss. But still plenty of rocks to go here in the second end. Definitely going to go around the rings in a moment. I can give you an update on sheet 1 because the scoreboard's in the vision. It's a big old 1 for the red team there, and that would be Team Betts from Wine Country. This next stone is coming from Leanne Shearing. She started curling in 2019 and has been hooked ever since, proudly representing Wine Country at a number of bonspiels, including the 2021 U.S. Women's Curling Association Nationals, the 2022 25 and under, and most recently the 2022 Arena Nationals, where they took a bronze medal. MoPac has some significant representation in Arena Nationals. We had 2 teams finish in 4th, both men's and women's, and we had 2 teams win bronze, which is, I think, a really excellent showing and hopefully a great sign of kind of the progress we can make in the region. Here comes the next shot from Subs. She was the current 2021-22 Alberta U21 mixed doubles provincial champion. And it looks like she was wrecked on one of her stones, or one of her team's stones. So a miss, but they're going to stick around and stay in the house. Although that does change the complexion of the end, because it's now solidly Feldman sitting 2 from first and second shot, and Camarena sitting the 3rd and 4th shot. All but one of these shots are behind the button. So it's going to be interesting to see how this end finishes out. This is Shearing's last. Her bio says she loves curling, skating, and enticing her California teammates to play in wintry climes, which I think Katie alluded to in her bio. This shot is going to go to the, looks like it's going to bite the 8-foot. Just barely bite the 8-foot, but now they're sitting 3, and it's going to be a bit of a sticky situation for Camarena. It looks like she's dialing up a double here for Subs to take on. Subs also has, she was the champion of the Cochrane Mixed Doubles League for 3 consecutive years. Looks like she's got some good weight. And also with mixed doubles, it really, really pushes you to have good weight and good lines. And so we'll see if she's got this double in her pocket. She's got the 1, making contact, and it looks really, really close here. And it looks like Camarena was able to sweep the second yellow out of play. So just like that, we went from 3 Feldman shot rocks or counters to just the 1. Feldman still isn't a really excellent opportunity to steal and or force. So we'll see what happens here. Looks like they're just kind of, I think they're going to try and draw around that top blue and see what happens. Definitely narrowing the scoring circle, as it were. So they were thinking about, they're talking about now they're going to go to the other side. I wonder, kind of going back and forth on this. I think if they went to the intern, doing the clockwise turn on the left side, they would maybe perhaps be giving some cover to their shot rock, because right now their shot rock is exposed. Um, but I think what they're trying to do is I think they're going to try and put in another counter and really turn up the pressure for Camarena to get at least a point out of this. So this is Feldman's first of two skip stones without the hammer here in the second end. Sweepers jumped on it pretty quickly, although it looks like it's carrying okay. It looks like okay, so it looks like they definitely needed to sweep it, but it looks like it's pretty solid there. Um, going to settle in back of the button. I I perhaps would have wanted to keep it higher up, but we will see what Camarena does. I think they could potentially hit and roll under their blue that they already have, um, and just to make it a little harder for Feldman to reach their shot rock, perhaps. Um, but it looks like they're dialing up a hit, as it were. And I think it's really definitely going to depend on how much weight Camarena throws because the draw weight or anything, even just a little bit more than a draw weight, the curl can really catch on and lead to a miss. That's something that kind of tripped up some of the other teams on the earlier games that I saw this afternoon and tonight. But here is Camarena's first. Looks like they're okay with the line so far. He needs to curl, actually. So that one didn't really hardly curl at all. That is interesting. And unfortunate miss for Camarena. One of the fun things about Team Camarena and Adriana is that she is, as I mentioned in her bio, part of Team Mexico, and just to see this great ice sport extend into areas where ice is not super common, like Mexico, just to kind of see the sport grow and reach different groups of people because it's a fun sport and it's great to bring in different groups of people that may have not played it before but would be interested in playing. So it looks like they're setting up to do a draw. I think they would probably be good with any sort of guard. Um, a guard like definitely lights the miss here, where a guard would definitely help them. If it goes into the top of the house, I don't think it hurts them very much. So the sweepers are just kind of watching it go. Now they're laying a brush to it. And definitely going for a guard. It looks like it's going to curl up pretty well. Okay, so it settles in the top four. That shot rock is open. It's open a bit. I'm curious to see how Camarena might get to it. I think they might be trying to double those two yellows out just for one, which I don't. I mean, obviously, people have different ways to get to these stones. I don't know if I would want to do a takeout that depended on making a double. When you maybe could do like a heavy draw, perhaps to the shot stone on the left side of this view. But here is the hammer for Camarena here in the second ends. I think looking for a double. Supers are trying to, I think, coax it over. I don't think it's going to get over enough. It might. It gets one out past the closest blue, but it does appear to be a steal of two for Team Feldman. So looks like Feldman's jumping out to a 3-0 lead fairly quickly as Camarena carries the hammer into the third end. We will be back in just, well, I say we'll be back in a moment. We'll return to this game in just a moment, but let us take a trip around the rings to see how the other games are going. So, as we mentioned before, all these scores are on bondspieler.com. So we hope that the scoreboards will kind of get nudged in a moment because these are for the last game. So if you ignore the scoreboards, let's just ignore the scoreboards, and you can watch the action. Looks like there's a bunch of rots in play on sheet one. A fairly messy house after Betts got that single in the first end. Howells is yellow, and it looks like Howells had a chance for three there, and that's the last rock in the end. Looks like Howells on sheet one did put up a three spot, a bit of a crooked number there. On sheet three, a decent number of rocks in play. Let's say a decent number. There's two cards in a red. It looks like they're going away. So this is the third end here. After the first end, Burnt stole one from Hollywood over Team Meyer from Bay Area Curling. And then on sheet four, there's only 4 sheets in play this draw. Umali was forced to one. Umali's from Hollywood. It's 1-0 over Walsh from San Francisco after the first end. So we will keep an eye on these games as we continue to progress. Hopefully the scoreboard will be nudged. But if you need live scores, you just got to get that scoreboard fixed. Just go to bondspieler.com. Bondspieler.com. Bond say bond, bond say bond, bond. Bond say bond, 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 bond. It's a song I'm referencing. Yeah, there's the scoreboards. Yay. All right, let's go back to our featured game here between Team Camarena and Team Feldman, where it's been Team Feldman doing the scoring so far. It's the score here. So it looks like Feldman may have been a little bit heavy in their first stone. It's on the side, and Camarena just drew in. Kind of a bold play without the hammer. Well, they had the hammer, pardon me, to try and set up a multiple score situation. And the cameras are doing things. So someone was noting that they really like the overhead views. The setup that San Francisco Bay Area Curling has is a really nice setup. We have these pan tilt zoom cameras that you may have seen the pan and the zooming and the tilting just a moment ago. And then all the cameras have, I believe, high definition overhead cameras, which allows the multiple camera split screen view that you guys saw. Plus, it's also helping with timing this week. So the net direct from Camarena is away. And it looks like it's coming up with just a smidge light, which could be what they wanted. So Camarena is sitting shot rock behind Feldman's corner guard. Looks like Feldman would like to kind of draw in. I think maybe draw to that shot stone in the back 8 foot. That stone coming from Melissa McGuire. Melissa McGuire works out all the time and always makes fun of Katie's obsession with TikTok and Taylor Swift. So it looks like they wrecked on the blue guard and raised the blue guard to the house. So I think we heard Katie say that it was good advice, not the right ice. So that's an interesting observation from Skip Feldman. So someone in the chat was asking about a warm room cam. I don't know if we would be able to do that in part because like we're kind of tight into space, and some people are changing here. Some people were asking if I was going to be on camera during this broadcast, and I said no, and they were relieved because they needed to change out of their curling gear. We'll see what we can do. This shot looks to be just maybe a smidge heavy. It's going to go to the back of the house. It's going to sit back in the back eights. On that line with the 12 foot, into the 12-foot zone. So there's some pockets for Feldman to draw to, and I think they're going to try the same type of shot, but with a different ice this time. I think less ice is the call. So the weight looks pretty good. So it looked like it came out of hack with a decent amount of speed, but it looks like it's settling in okay. It's trying to get to biting the 4 foot and will be shot rock, but it is looks pretty exposed, especially from this view here. And so Camarena is going to make a play for it. This is one of those shots where it's like, just put the broom down and let her rip. And this is going to be the last rock from SEMA. Looks like the weight's pretty good. It's going to hit jams on the blue and on the top side of this view and kind of rolls, and then the shooter also rolls out. So changes things around. I think that's going to be kind of a bit of a miss. Although Camarena is still shot rock, but now Feldman is sitting second. And it looks like Feldman, I think, having found a line that works for the team, is going to try and sink another stone kind of around that corner guard. Here comes the net stone from Leanne. So it looks like really good line, really good weight. It is around that corner guard very effectively. Looks almost all buried, and they are sitting shot now. And then also there's a bit of a danger for Camarena because if they hit the stone in the yellow stone in the wrong place, it might jam on their own, and kind of make things worse. So we will see what Subs has dialed up here. So it looks like the line's pretty tight, but it looks like it's pretty good. So it does chip out that yellow and rolls the yellow out of the house. Still kind of on the left side of the sheet, or the right side, depending on your view. So it's now Camarena sitting first and third shot, with Feldman sitting the second shot. And it looks like Feldman, again, is just going to dial up that draw around the corner guard.
Worked pretty well for them last time, and we'll see if they got it again. This looks a bit lighter than the last one, although it's kind of tricky to see from this camera view. But I think it is a little bit lighter. It is going to get into the house, biting the 8 foot. So now Feldman is sitting second and third shot, while Camarena is first and fourth. And the those shots are behind the corner door, so it's going to be really hard for them to get it out. So I think they're kind of looking at what they might do here. And it looks like they're going to try and draw in. This is the last shot from subs in this end. Looks like it's got enough weight. It's kind of hanging out maybe a little bit more than they would like. Ah, okay. So yeah, I kind of maybe got it backwards. Although those two stones along the 8 foot ring are kind of a toss up. It looks like perhaps Camarena is first and second, and Feldman is third and fourth. But we will see how the end develops. One thing about these houses is that um, they're not precise. Not houses can have some measurement discrepancies and stuff. And so the teams were informed that while the pin is true and the circles are true along one axis, they are a little bit stretched in the other axis. And I forget which axis it was, so I can't say. But so if it does come down to a measure, I think better safe than sorry, just because it's not sure exactly how true these rings are. And that's for the houses with the logos. The houses that were painted are more precise than the logo houses. So this shot from Feldman, the first of her two skip stones. Weight, maybe weight's pretty good. I think they may have wanted just like another 6 inches, but they do cut Camarena to one, as now Feldman is sitting second shot in the top 4 foot, and it's going to be, I think, a slightly tricky situation for Camarena to take out Feldman's second shot there, because there's so many different ways it could jam, and then another issue is like how does Camarena get multiple point score out of this? Because if they hit, the second the yellow on the right there, kind of on the left side, the blue's gonna roll towards the bottom of the screen, and then that kind of gives Feldman just a chance to draw in and just make it kind of make it harder for Camarena to get the shot out a second time. I think they are going to try and take it from the other side. So they want it to kind of curl past the face, if I'm guessing correctly. And so from this view, hit it towards the top half of the stone. And so then the stone would kind of go jutting out towards the bottom left. So we'll see if Camarena has this. So they're trying to hold it. It's really going. So this so they're rid of one yellow, and the shooter is going to stick around. Um, so that stone just, I think, got away from them, and that kind of does support kind of my observation that sometimes the stone, once it goes, it dives pretty hard, and it looks like it's diving pretty hard going away. But they got something. Team Camarena got something out of this, so I don't think it's the worst shot in the world. But now, what Feldman could do is they could like maybe draw and tap their yellow up. They could also maybe draw, um, like maybe draw to the back four and sit right on top of the blue. Possibly maybe push the blue out a little further. Um, I think they were also looking at a guard, and I'm not entirely sure about the guard. I mean, it definitely, I think makes it easier to force Camarena 2-1, which is not a bad outcome. I just one thing to keep in mind is that teams ideally when they start well they have a game plan for the entire game, and then they have a per end plan, like how they see an individual end going. And so perhaps the thinking on the part of Team Feldman was it's okay to force Camarena to just one, hopefully not to give up more than one. And with this guard, I think if they do put up a guard, it would be hard for Camarena to get more than one out of this situation. So sweepers are on it. I think definitely also to help hold the line because, like I said, once it starts to go, it really grabs and it digs in. This is the guard. I say guard is going to slip into the house, but it's going to be a third shot now. If the circles are how I see them. So in addition to the houses being stretched a certain way, our camera is not precisely centered, so I would not be able to tell exactly how which stones are closer to the button. But they do on the ice, and if they don't, they can ask for help. So we also do have ice officials here to help oversee the game. Although teams, we trust teams to be able to do their own measurements if they feel confident enough. If they have concerns, they can always ask for an official to intervene. The ice official said that it's only happened a handful of times where the official needed to kind of help with the measure. So this is an interesting situation for Camarena. I think they might be trying to do a double. It's kind of based on where they have the broom, because if they double those yellows out, then they could get two, maybe three. It's going to be a tough shot. And here we go. This is the hammer coming from Adriana Camarena. I think their concern is a little wide, but it's starting to dig in a little bit. But it needs to curl a bit more. And they did the one. So they're calling a technical timeout because they don't know for sure which is shot. From my view, from your view as well, it looks like it could be blue. But like I said, the circles may be deceiving. This camera may be deceiving, and so it's probably just better to get a measure, as it's like Subs is going to go grab the measuring tool. Everyone's favorite officiating device at the Olympics. There's certain elements of sport that are unique and are kind of fun. And so, the measuring device in curling is I think, one of the fun things. If you ever watch lawn bowling, they have like calipers to measure the distance between the bowls, and then in soccer, I like when the official pulls like a can of foam to kind of draw the line that the player is supposed to set up at. I call it FIFA foam. So all these sports have kind of unique quirks and stuff. And for curling, it's the measuring device here, which is a pressure gauge. And, just based on the amount of pressure, the more pressure means it's closer to the center than the other stone. And it looks pretty close, although I think they're kind of looking yellow. Although, okay, so they did measure it. And not quite seeing the definitive answer, so we're going to wait till they put the score up to be sure. It looked pretty yellow to me, and then it looks like It's like they got done with one measure, and then the official or someone from the other another sheet came over to grab uh, the measuring tool for another measure. So, all right. So based on the fact that we have Team Feldman getting set up, I'm going to call it as one yellow, and that would be a steal as the measuring tool gets brought back. So we are headed into the fourth end, and at the fourth end, we are going to take a 5-minute break with the teams, just so that I can rest my luxurious curling announcing voice, and also just get a breath of fresh air. Um, so while they're getting set up for this end, let's take a look around the rings real quick. Looking around the rings here, it looks like we have on sheet one, after Team Howells put up that 3 spot, it looks like Team Betts with the Red Rocks is a sitting shot. The score is 3-1 in favor of Team Howells. On sheet 3, it's a Donnybrook, as someone might say, all square at 1 after 2 ends, although it looks like Team Yellow does not have the hammer, so it looks like they are in a position to steal right now. On sheet 4, lots of rocks in front of the house, but only one red sitting shot, and then we have a yellow on the 12-foot, and that's also all tied at 1 after 1. And then on sheet 5, that sheet 5 is not in play because there's no teams. So you're caught up, and you can always get the latest action on bondspieler.com. So transitioning back to our feature game between Team Camarena from San Francisco Bay Area and Team Feldman from Wine Country. It's a 4-0 game in the fourth end. Looks like Camarena wanted to draw rounds and did so. Looks like they're going to be touching paint. A bit exposed, although it looks like Feldman's just going to be happy to put up a center guard here. So this is our last broadcast tonight, but we have 4 games on tap tomorrow, and at least 3 games on Saturday, and then 2 games on Championship Sunday. Coming up tomorrow morning, it's a men's draw in Group D between Team Akiyama from San Francisco and Team Fleming. I'm fairly certain it's from Coyotes. And indeed they are. At noonish, I say, because so at about 9 we have Akiyama taking on Fleming. At 12:30 we have Team Meyer taking on Team Hernandez, and then at 4 p.m. we have Team Burns taking on Team Siggins, and then we finish Friday with a men's B pool game between Team Pomeroy from Olympic Oval taking on Team Howells from Hollywood. And that is all on tap tomorrow on our YouTube channel here at MoPac. You can get the latest times and viewing information on our YouTube channel at MoPac CA, or you can also visit us on Facebook, and that is also MoPac CA. So, so glad to have you guys with us here tonight. It is definitely, this is probably the closest game so far. It's like Camarena's had opportunities and just hasn't been able to get through that door to get a couple points on the board. So it looks like Feldman would like to have her second, Melissa McGuire, just draw in, I think, or perhaps guard. They're sweeping it, and it looks like they're going to get partly around that yellow shot rock. Looks like they're only about a fifth buried. So it looks like there is a bit of a double opportunity there for Camarena and her second, Seema Shah. Bit of an ad there, just based on the arm extension. Needs to curl up a little bit. They're going to hit 1. They're going to hit the shot stone, I believe, but they're also going to lose the shooter. So not a bad outcome. Although if you're trying to score multiple points, you definitely want to have your shooters sticking around. And it looks like Feldman just wants to draw around again, calling for T line wait. The shot's away. Looks like the weight's just maybe the weight wasn't too bad. I would say obviously just a little bit light, but it does come in to sit second shot. So Feldman is sitting 2 right now, and it looks like Camarena wants to try that takeout again. Rocks away. This looks to have over curled, and I don't think they thought they could save it because I didn't really see them brushing. So a bit of a miss, and it looks like now Feldman is going to split the house with some draw weight there, hoping to, I think, kind of come to rest in the top 8 foot. Kind of keep the stones as level as possible. And that's going a little bit deeper than they would have liked. It does kind of create like a hit and roll possibility for Camarena. But they're going back to that possible double. It looks like they're doing the double. The line looks better this time. So we're going to hold the line. It looks like it's pretty good. We're going to get one. The top yellow gems on the bottom yellow. And so they run one of the yellows through the house, but not the double. But it does improve their situation a bit. And so now Feldman's kind of looking to see what to do there. And I think she's just kind of closing the door in terms of draw pass to the button. So last stone coming for Leanne Shearing. It looks like Katie Feldman wanted to be top of the house. It's going to be a tight guard, which I'm sure is not a bad miss. So Camarena, having improved the situation on the right side of the sheet, was kind of looking to maybe kind of chip it out the other yellow that was sitting second. Also kind of looking to maybe hit and roll under the cover. So she wants to hit the shot stone and roll under the center guard that Feldman just put up, Feldman's team put up. This is the second stone coming from Seema Shah. Weight's pretty good. Gonna roll. Okay, it rolls a little too far. Not far. I mean, it doesn't roll too far. Actually, it rolls to the back 8, but that is going to be a second shot under some cover there. Very well covered from this angle. And so now I think Feldman is talking over with Leanne. I think looking to draw in. And again, teams kind of consider what sort of shot they want to, or what their kind of their end game is for an end. Ha, maybe that's where end game comes from. Probably not. Everyone knows it comes from the Avengers. Um, kind of what the goals are for an end, and in this case, I think they're going to be happy to force, especially when they're up 4-0 right now through uh, in the fourth end. So Feldman's talking it over with her front ends as they get set. So it looks like they're gonna hit the yellow and kind of raise their yellow. So they're sweeping on it, and it looks like it's gonna go past the button to the back button in the forefoot area. So that was a pretty nice raise, and again, that's also kind of buried. Um, it's about half open, so they could draw to it, um, perhaps, especially given how these stones curl in certain places on the ice. But again, there's also the possibility of that yellow jamming on the blue in the back, um, which isn't the end of the world. It just it definitely reduces the scoring area. But I think Camarena is just looking for hopefully 2 points here in this end. Um, if they can get more than two, that'd be awesome. But if they can get two, that would be an optimal outcome. So Subs has the broom on the ice. Camarena does some getting set in the hack. This is the first of two stones here for Adriana Camarena. I think definitely looking, hoping to manufacture a Stips Deuce here. Weight looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to be it's a gentle weight. It's not too. I don't think it's too heavy. It is around the guard, and now they're sweeping to finish. I think it just over curled by about 3 or 4 inches. And actually, I think if they swept it, they could have held the line and kind of hit that yellow closer on the nose to move that yellow back, so they would be seeing shot pretty close to frozen. So I would say it was probably underswept. But sometimes it's hard to judge. I'm not in these competitions, and so obviously I'm seeing what you guys are seeing. The people on the ice may be seeing things differently, and yeah, it can be hard to judge, especially when I'm sitting in the warm room, uh, you know, not eating bonbons but having a soda and chatting with you guys. So it looks like Feldman wants to draw in. I think they could follow them down and just kind of close off the forefoot area, and then really force Camarena to one with a tough draw on the left side of the sheet. So this is Katie Feldman's last here. Let's pretty guard weighty, if you're asking me. And looking for some good finish here, and it looks like it's going to finish as a tight guard, really blocking off that path. And so now for Camarena, I don't see how they can get it on the right side of the sheet or the bottom of the screen from here. Um, it'd be a possibly tricky raise of the blue stone in the top 12 foot or the left side of the house from our view here. Um, They would need to draw to be almost half on the button, and that's a uh, tough reach given this setup. I think it's there though. I think that's possibly there. They're looking at possibly I think drawing. But Subs doesn't have the broom on the ice, so I'm not quite sure what the call is. I don't know if Camarena is going to the hack to see if they can see what you can see from the hack there. Okay, so Subs does have the broom down, and it looks like they are going to try and draw. This is a potentially risky shot because the possibility of wrecking on that guard is fairly high. But here we go. This is Adriana Camarena's hammer shot here in the fourth end, looking for one. So definitely need to make sure it gets around the guard. It's starting to curl, but now they're off of it. It is going to wreck on, or it looks like it was headed towards wrecking on the yellow. But they just kind of let it be, and we're off it, and that's the end of the end. Team Feldman is going into the fourth end break with another steal of one to take a 5-0 lead over Team Camarena. This is going to be a 5-minute break. So before we take our break, I was going to update the score real quick and update the other scores on the other sheets so we can all feel really confident as we go and go to our Chesterfields, which is not a cigarette. Where is it? What do they call sofas in Canada? I thought they called them Chesterfields too. I'll get back to you on that. So we're going to go around the houses, around the rings. Looking at sheet one, looks like Team Bets put up a deuce to tie things up. It's 3-all as they looks like they finished the fourth end. Don't know what the score is there. On sheet three, the game between Team Meyer and Team Burnt. It looks like they are. Looks like they're starting their fourth end, perhaps. It's all Meyer right now, as I can tell. No, so it's partly a Meyer. So it's 4-2. Burns got a single in the fourth end with Hammer, so they're forced. And so the score is 4-2 Burns. Sorry, 4-2 Meyer after the fourth end break. And then on sheet four, a women's B pool game between Walsh of San Francisco and Team Umali of Hollywood. It is 3-1. All the scores have been ones. After Umali scored with the hammer in the first end, it's been all Walsh since then, with a force of one in the second and two steals of 1 point each in the third and the fourth ends. It is a 3-1. So we are going to take a bit of a break, return to our feature sheet in a moment, where it is currently 5-0 in favor of Team Feldman of Wine Country over Team Camarena of San Francisco. We'll be right back as we will return to the 2023 MoPac men's and women's club playdowns here at San Francisco Bay Area Curling. And yes, Joel says Davenport. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So thank you. I love the internet. We'll be back in a moment. Rocks in play. We are underway here in the fifth end here at the 2023 men's and women's club playdowns. It's been all Team Feldman so far on our feature sheet on sheets 2. As it looks like Feldman went around some of the guards near the center and is sitting 1. So it looks like Camarena wants to kind of follow Team Feldman down. So it looks like they're able to get around those center guards. Like with some good sweeping, they are going to be able to get to shot rock. Uh, looks like a really well teamed shot there. And so it looks like we're kind of doing a bit of a drawing game here this end. So they're trying to. It sounds like they're communicating, trying to make sure that the rock was going to get into a good place. It's going to end up as a 3 guard, I would say, in the third of the guard zone that's closest to the house. Not overly tight, but tight-ish. So I think Camarena. I think they want to maybe kind of draw down again. This could be the start of something good for Camarena. It looks like they wanted to draw around the guard that was just put up. So it looks like a lot of good sweeping. It looks like it might be nibbling the top of the house there, but just a nibble. Uh, not like me at a buffet. I don't just nibble, but anyway. So I think on the other sheet they want the stone to go all the way and hard at the same time. On our sheet, a little bit more sedate. Looks like they're going to get around that Camarera stone, but I think it's just a smidge too heavy as it goes through the house and out of play. So now Camarena obviously trying to set up a multiple point end here. I think that they I think they want to try and raise that blue that just was nibbling the top of the house. And this is the net shot coming from Subs. And Subs, again, is the nickname for Sabathinka, Tanga Durai, or Subs, as we do appreciate being able to call her. It looks like this went partly around the guard, but not enough to outcount that second yellow shot in the left side of the house, the top part of the house from this camera angle. So, interesting situation here. So I think they want to try and draw around. And this is a Lee Ann device for Team Feldman. That's Lee Ann Shearing. So they're switching to I think, trying to get optimal sweeping to, kind of shape the path of the stone. best. And I think they wanted to go through the gap, and they were really close to navigating the gap, just a little on the short side. I do think they wanted tee, and it ended up in the guard zone area. So Camarena has another chance to kind of get a stone into the 4 foot area. So it did hit the blue that was initially nibbling the top of the house, and has now pushed that nibbler to the full 12 foot. However, Camarera sitting first, third, and fourth, and maybe fifth. But Feldman has that kind of tricksy second shot that it's going to possibly be a bit of a challenge to get out. This is Shearing's last here. Looks like they're going to get perhaps a piece. Yes, they did get a piece of that blue and escorted it from the premises, as I like to say. And the shooter did stick around because it jammed on another blue that was on the outside of the house. So now Camarera has a decent draw path to the top 4 foot, and it looks like they're going to take advantage of that. Wasting no time, as they say. And this is Subs' last shot here before we get to skip stones. This seems to be a little on the light side. The Supers are going for it, but I think it's going to end up just a bit short, unfortunately. So this end has been an end of opportunity for Camarena, but they just have not been able to capitalize so far. I mean, they've had their chances and they've had opportunities, but they've just not been able to kind of get more of those desperately needed rocks there is closer to the center of the house than Team Feldman. So now Team Feldman, with Katie Feldman looking to do her first of 2 skip stones without hammer, looks to be drawing. I don't know if they're going to. I don't know what weight they would like. I think light being the miss is quite okay. Um, yeah, and again, I think yeah, definitely light's probably okay because it's a 5-0 situation. Although they're changing the call, they're on the left side of the sheet here, and I think it's going to be very tricky for Camarena to get another stone, uh, almost a full 8 foot. There's like a possible run back, perhaps, like maybe running the yellow onto the blue, but that's kind of dangerous. Um, that might be what they're trying to block. Um, they initially wanted to block the draw on the left, or sorry, the right or the top side, and now they're back on the left side of the sheet or the bottom of the screen. Uh, it looks like they might be trying to do like an out turn in off, perhaps, just based on kind of where they have the broom. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how this shot develops. So this is Katie Feldman's first here in the fifth end. So it looks like they were doing the out turn, and it's just over, curling on them, and that is something that that is something that's kind of fooled teams on the other games that we've seen tonight, and it went out of play and they stopped it, and so when they stopped it, they kicked it, and it kind of came back into the rock and play. So they're just kind of resetting it. Um, that was going to be a very difficult in off. Um, I think perhaps a little aggressive on the part of Team Feldman, but I don't, I don't think the risk was too bad because they wouldn't be giving up a bundle here. And I think they would have a chance to kind of roll in and be shot or at least narrow the scoring area. Looks like for Team Camarena, pardon me. Um, I think they were looking to possibly draw a round. That's what they're set up to do. They're set up to do a draw round, but I think getting full 8 foot is going to be a difficult proposition. Um, we saw the stone going with the counterclockwise rotation. It over curled, and so they're going to be going with a clockwise rotation. And it's going to be interesting to see how the stone moves down the ice here. So Camarena's first shot is away. So it looks like it's holding the line pretty well. Um, it's going to be important that it gets to the full 8 foot. It's not curling back actually, so that's an interesting situation. Oh, it wicked off of the yellow. It wicked off of the yellow to bite the 8 foot, but ultimately not full points if we were judging the shot because it didn't outcount the yellow. Um, and also for Feldman, they could possibly hit that blue out and then roll under the center. They're asking if the front end can see that blue that's in the 8 foot, touching the 8 foot. And I think it's going to be tricky. If the ice was curling predictably and reliably, I think it would be there because that rock is about 80% exposed. However, just because it looks like the rocks are kind of falling out, but they're not coming back as much. I think it's going to be perhaps a tricky shot for them to make. Um, we will definitely see. And just again, looking at the overhead here. There's just a lot of rocks in play, but not a lot of ways for Camarena to get a second shot here. So we will see what Team Feldman, Katie Feldman, does to make it even harder for Camarena to get that deuce. But Camarena does have one in the pocket right now, so we will see right now with Katie Feldman's last stone without hammer. So it needs to curl, and so that's kind of my fear was that it's going to hang out. It's not really curling, although it looks like it's going to wick off of that yellow again, and so a bit of it was a miss, as it did wick off of the yellow and then ran onto the blue. It jammed on the blue. It looks like Camarena might be sitting two right now, so this is a chance for three, perhaps. Again, it's hard to tell if the houses are not exactly accurate in terms of the dimensions. The pins are correct, and the circles are correct mostly in one axis, but they are a little bit stretched going the other axis. I think perhaps going kind of lengthwise here, kind of from top to bottom, perhaps it looks maybe a little bit more ovoid. So if it does come down to the possibility of a 3-point end, I think they're going to measure that yellow and the yellow in the top right, and then the blue in the bottom left. Yeah, this is really a chance. So Subs is worried about the shot not being there, so they're kind of calling it audible. They are thinking about it. Apparently, they didn't need to think too much about it. As they're just looking for any possibility here, I'm curious about looking at the overhead. I mean, they could possibly have tried to curl on the top right side of the sheets, um, because all they need is full 8 foot to outcount that yellow. But they didn't really take much of a look over it. They're going to try this run back here, and it's going to be interesting to see if it's there. And here is the hammer now coming from Adriana Camarena in the fifth end. Looks like it might be a little wide. Sweepers are on it. Needs to come back a bit. Adriana is a little confused about what happened in terms of the curl of the stone there, like how much it moved. And also in terms of speed, I think it was close. I think it. I think it just need a little bit more weight. So now they're looking at it, and again, I think it's really close. But again, the rings, I said the ovals, the rings are not exact, and this camera, this overhead view is not exact. So, like I said, I think if there's a question, I think they should measure it, just because we know that the rings are not true. But we will see what they decide. So also looking at time, Camarena has a 9.5 minutes remaining to play three ends, which is pretty tight on time. So they will need to, if they do want to continue playing the end of the game, to the end of the game, a quicker pace would be called for. So it does look like they are getting the measure, just kind of based on where we are positioned. Um, I would have cleared the blue that's next to the yellow at the top of the screen, but however they choose to measure is fine. And as always, it's the devices or the people that were holding the broom at the end of the end that are responsible for measuring. Everyone else should stay the heck out from the house. It does come up where everyone wants to take a peek and see what's going on. I get it. I've been there, but definitely need to let devices do the measuring so they can get it done as expeditiously as possible, and we can continue play. Um, so looks like they're getting the measure. So while they're doing that, let me take a quick peek around the rings here. The other three games on the ice. Looks like we have a tie game now. On sheet one, men's B pool play between Team Betts and Howells. They're all square at 4. Sheet 2 is our feature game between Camarera and Feldman. Looks like Camarera has at least one in the bag, maybe two, to make it a 5, potentially 2 game. On sheet 3, it's a men's A pool game, and it looks like Meyer put up a deuce in the 5th to take a 6-2 lead over Team Burnt from Hollywood. And then the last game on the ice tonight, women's B pool. Looks like Team Walsh added another single. It's been all singles so far on this game to make it a 4-1 game over Team Umali from. All those scores are on bondspieler.com. Bondspieler.com. You can't spell spiel without bondspieler.com, which is true. All right, so they did clear the blue shot rock, and now they're going to do the measure. I think it's so hard to say. I would say it looks kind of yellow, but you know that part of the house is a little bit brighter than the where the blue is, and that could be deceiving my eyes. We'll just let the experts do it here. So it looks like they got it set up now. So they got the yellow. Round and round we go. Where it stops, we know it's going to be at the blue, and it looks blue. maybe. Or hard to tell. I really wish they pointed. So definitely one you will have to see how they put up the score when we come back to the 2023 MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns, coming to you from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. I'm so glad you guys are here tonight. We got a pretty close one so far. We'll see how it finishes in just a moment. And we are back. It's a Thursday night. My weekend's already started. I'm choosing the party here at the Bay Area Curling Club. Uh, it's a watch party, and I'm so glad you guys are here as well. Kind of doing the online. It's not Zoom stacking, but I don't know what we would call it. I know some people call it the Twitter spiel when we're on Twitter, but that's not quite right either. So if we have a cool nickname for people who comment on YouTube curling videos, please share it in the comments, and we might make it into a hashtag or something. So that first rock is an extremely tight guard, looking pretty good for Team Camarena. Camarena, pardon me. So they did put on the board. It was just a single. First rock coming from Chris Bilbray. She enjoys spending her weekends hanging out with her son Colton at the pool or at band events. And funny enough, bronze is her favorite color. There's a bit of a running joke about how the players are super happy that they won bronze at Arena Nationals this past October, which is obviously a great accomplishment, and I'd be happy with bronze as well. Um, this net stone coming from Kate Garfinkel. Looks pretty guardy to me. Needs to a guard, and camera's doing that camera thing again. All right, here comes the net stone from Bill Bray. Looks like they were going to put up a guard, not a guard, a rock kind of splitting the rings there. It's pretty good. And so it looks like Camarena wants to draw in. Here's the shots. Now the cameras are doing the camera thing. We've been going so long without it. Now it's doing it. It's fascinating. Here's the next rock coming for Team Feldman. Let's see what they put up here. Right now, it looks like Feldman's sitting shots. Looks like they're trying to take out the Camarena stone, pardon me, that's sitting second. And they are able to tap that out of play. So now it's Feldman sitting 3 rocks here, and Camarena needs to get rid of some of these counters and hopefully be in a position to steal. Looks like they're setting up to do a hit. The stone coming from Sima Shah. Oh my goodness. So I think they wanted to make a play on that top yellow, but they actually got the stone that was in the 8 foot. So I think that was a nice plan B. I'll call it a nice plan B. So it looks like Feldman wants to draw the rock from Melissa McGuire. And it looks like the draw is pretty solid so far. I don't think it's going to get around that blue center stone. But it puts another yellow in there, forces Camarena to make a play on it. Although looks like they're setting up for so she has the broom on the tee line, which would indicate like a draw or a guard. But I think they could be trying to draw around. But based on the weight, I think they're trying to do a takeout. And it made sense to do a takeout. Looks like it's pretty close. Makes some good contact and gets that yellow away from the premises. So looks like Feldman's just going to follow Camarena down with his first shot coming from Leanne Shearing. Looks like it's curling up pretty nicely. Sweepers are trying to hold it a little bit. Looks like it did wick off of the blue guard, but it did roll in the house. It's sticking around for a second shot now. So it looks like right now, Team Camarena is sitting first and fifth shots, while Feldman is sitting 2, 3, 4. So it looks like, Camarena is in a position to at least steal here. Although you do kind of want to look to see what your goal is for this end, because it's the 6th end. There's only going to be 2 more ends after that, 2 more ends after this. And so I would say stealing here is not too bad. So if you just steal here and then force Feldman to 1 in the 7th end, it would be a 6-2 game. It's not a great situation to try and score 4 points in the last end, but it might work better in terms of trying to score multiple points. So that shot looks pretty decent. It did run the shot blue rock back, although now it looks like looks like that yellow that was second is still second, because the blue that hit is further up toward the top of the house than the original shot rock. So it moved it back, just kind of creating a bit of a pocket, which is potentially good. This is Leanne's last here. Doing some heavy weight here. Got 1 and it rolls into the pocket on the right side, the bottom of your screen. So now for Adriana Camarena, we're now, I believe, to stipstones. She's sitting shot rock, but that's one out of six rocks in the houses. Team Feldman has four that are much closer, not much closer, but four that are closer than the other Camarena stone. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think they're going to try and draw around that kind of cluster of rocks in the center. So here we go. This is Adriana Camarena's first here in the sixth end without hammer. So sweepers are on it. Looks like it might be a smidge on the light side. So, I mean, a guard's not bad. It's just ideally you'd maybe hopefully try to be in a position to score multiple, to make the most of this even end here. And it's a guard. So from this overhead view, it looks like it's guarding, I would say, 2/3 or about half of the shot blue rock. But when you look at it from this view, it's probably closer to a third. It's hard to tell. One's eyes may deceive one's self. Team Feldman does have the hammer here. So Katie has a chance to kind of pick out that blue rock and then be sitting a handful, a mittenful. Although mittens only have like two digits, I guess. But I guess it's the what the mitten is holding as opposed to the digits of the mitten itself. I guess it sounds better than gloveful, so I guess mittenful sounds okay. Here we go. This is the first of two shots coming from Katie Feldman here at the sixth end. It's a bit wide. Goes into the pile. And just kind of moves them around. Not too much of a change there. Team Feldman is sitting 2, 3, 4, 5. While Team Camarena, pardon me, is sitting first and fifth, or sixth, pardon me. So it looks like Adriana's gonna have another chance to draw into the house here. Here comes her shot. Looks like I think the weight's there. Maybe a little worried about the weight. They have a little bit of backing, or they can perhaps wick off of the yellow there, and they do. So that was probably a good plan B there. Camarena is now sitting 2 here without the hammer, so Team Feldman has a chance to affect the outcome of the end. I'm kind of curious to see what shot they do. They need to be full 4 foot to outcount the main Camarena stone. They are calling a timeout. They have called a timeout on the ice while they're thinking about it. The front end is moving up. They do have a draw. I think the draw is there. The outturn draw on the right side, and that path might be pretty close to the button actually. They are thinking about it. I don't know if the people in the chat have an idea of what the shot should be. I think it's the draw, but it looks like they're looking at the other side, the intern draw. And that's kind of what they're looking at now is the intern draw. Um, I guess a potential plan B is if they hit the yellow that is kind of on the top left side, closest to Leanne, they could raise the yellow toward the button. Um, Someone, Danny, in the chat says they like the draw. We'll see what Katie Feldman would like to do here. With the hammer here in the sixth end. I think they're doing the raise based on the weight. Scoopers are off of it. Needs to come back. They wanted to raise. Okay, started to come back a little bit. So it wicked off of the yellow and is now rolling toward the back 12 foot. So it looks like Camarena has succeeded in getting two. And so that does kind of change the math a little bit here, as it is now 5-3 here heading into the seventh end. Team Feldman will retain the hammer heading into this seventh odd number end. And we will be back to the future game in just a moment. Let's check in on the around the rings coverage and see how the other games are going. So it looks like maybe the scoreboard is a little bit behind, but you can see the action on these other sheets. On sheet A, the men's B pool game, Garnet Howells put up a crooked number of 3 in the sixth end and has now taken a 7-4 lead over Team Betts from Wine Country. Sheet 2 is our women's A pool game between Team Camarena and Feldman, and you know the score there. It is 5-3. On sheet 3, it's a men's A pool game between Team Meyer from San Francisco. He has an 8-point lead over Team Burnt from Hollywood. And then the final game on the ice tonight on sheet 4, women's B pool. The exchange of ones continues. Team Umali from Hollywood finally got another single in the sixth end, but Team Walsh responded right back with another single in the seventh. So that score is 5-2 in favor of Team Walsh, and that's all coming from singles throughout this entire game. So once again, all the scores are available on bondspieler.com. Bondspieler it's powered by the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, and we definitely appreciate them providing the service. And if you enjoy the service, please feel free to make a donation. We're about to resume our feature sheet coverage here. It is a 5-3 game in the seventh end. And it looks like the first rock is about to be delivered by Kate Garfinkel. So it looks like that. Oh, sorry. So that was the first stone from Feldman. It looks like it hogged. The first stone from Kate Garfinkel was a center guard. So in this situation, you kind of think about what Team Camarena would like to do in this end. I think they would be happy to steal, but I think one of the preferred outcomes would be to force Team Feldman to 1. It would make it a 3-point game. It's kind of hard to score 3 points, especially in the last end, but at least Camarena would have the hammer coming home, and they don't currently. And they wouldn't if they stole another single here. The other possibility is to perhaps steal two here. Like it might be kind of the strategy. Like, maybe try to steal two here and then steal a single in the end, the final end. Um, that's a lot of stealing though. So it looks like the hit was called for, but it's going to be a miss. And so now Camarena wants to draw in behind the center guard that was put up. Looks like they're doing okay on time. Camarena has just over 6 minutes remaining, as you can tell in that view, while Team Feldman has 7 minutes. It's still kind of a tricky situation. I mean, I guess ideally you would want to try and play it end in about 4 minutes, but you could probably do it in 3.5 if you play really quickly. So time is running tight for Team Camarena, but they are in a situation to kind of get back into this game. As they are sitting two now. Their last shot was a biter on the 12-foot. And so it looks like Team Feldman wants to try that takeout again. And so is asking Melissa McGuire to do takeout duties. So it looks pretty close. I think they're trying to hold the line. Looks like it's curling up pretty nicely. Going to hit. I think they would have liked to have a little bit more roll. So Team Camarena could hit and roll. So they're doing a backline weight. Gentle hit there. So here comes the stone. It curling up really nicely, getting a little bit of a roll, and that yellow is going to go. So it did push that yellow back, although now Team Feldman is sitting second shots, and Camarena is sitting first and first and third. My apologies. Shots underway from McGuire. I think it's a little on the light side. It didn't seem like McGuire was happy with it out of hand. And it just kind of nestles up, doing the buddy system in the mid guard zone. And so now it looks like Camarena would like to draw onto the other side of the sheet behind those center guards, because those center guards are pretty staggered. It's going to be hard to get rid of both of them, especially this late in the end. Although, look at it go. Look at it curl. I think it was a little on the light side, but when it went, it really went. So it looks like I think Feldman's going to try that takeout again. It's a draw, actually. And this is Leanne, her first. So it creates a bit of a port. I think maybe the weight's starting to fool these teams, perhaps. I definitely don't think they wanted to put up a bunch of mid guards this late in the end and this late in the game. This is Subs' first shot here, or second shot. My apologies. I think that now they do want a raise, and they got to wait for a raise. See if it's on the money. It's pretty. I thought it was close, but I think it was. I think it over curled, obviously. So puts another one in the house. Although it looks like Feldman is still sitting second shot. Although Team Camarena is now first, third, and fourth shots. And so it looks like Feldman would like to now draw in, kind of maybe perhaps following a similar path than to what Subs just threw for Team Camarena. This is Leanne's last here in the seventh end. Line looks pretty good. Looks like maybe it's a smidge heavy as Camarena jumps on it past the tee line and sweeps it to the back 12. So now Feldman is sitting second and third shots. And Camarena quickly wants to do the draw, which makes sense. They have just over 5 minutes remaining. So I think they've been playing pretty quickly, which is good. If they can finish this end with the 4 minutes remaining, I think will be in excellent shape. As I say, 4:50 right now on the clock. And this is Adriana Camarena's first here in the seventh end without the hammer. So they're pretty happy with what they got from the skipper. So ideally they want to be sitting second shot. I think they're going to be pretty close to it, although it looks a little heavy. And it's going to go coasting a little bit more to the back 12 foot. So it looked like a really good shot, just just a smidge too much on that shot. And so now Feldman can put another rock into the house. Looks like they're trying to get to the button. Makes sense. And again, for Feldman, their strategy for this end may just be to get one, because if they go into the last end up 6-3, like I said, it's really hard to score 3 points in the final end. If they give up one, a steal of one, that's not, I don't think, the end of the world. It would be a 5-4 game. It would be a 1 point game, but the odds would still be in favor of Team Feldman. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do here in this end. And let's see here. Looks like they dialed up the draw again. All right, so it looks like Team Feldman was a little heavy with their last shot here, but now this is Adriana Camarena's chance to sit two, really, and put up the pressure for Feldman to get one out of this end. Because I definitely don't think it's in the game plan for Team Feldman to give up two in the seventh end. It would make it a tie game. It's not the end of the world, but I definitely don't think they want to give up two here. So here comes the shot. It's behind cover. So that's the draw that both teams have been trying to do for the last couple shots. And Camarena got there, and it looks like a really great shot. I don't. It's partly open. Just kind of based from this view. It's a tricky shot because when you look at the overhead, Camarena is sitting two right now, and I don't think that they can. I don't think they can hit their way out of this. I think they almost need to maybe try and draw between the two, if, if possible, just kind of based on how the ice moves. They're looking at the right ice there, and I think they're going for the drop, just based on where they had the broom on the tee line. But this is going to be a very tricky shot. Definitely going to need to be a team shot to execute properly, and this could obviously help change the tide of the game. Uh, so here we go. This is Katie Feldman's last, facing two. I think looking to draw through the port to the button, or at least a piece of the button. So sweepers are on it. It's not curling up, I think, as much as they would like. Um, Although if they can still get full 4 foot, it just didn't curl up. So that is a steal at two. And just like that, heading into the eighth and final end, barring an extra end, which would have to be a blank at this point, we are tied here at the 2023 Men's and Women's MoPac Club Playdowns. We are all square at 5. Team Camarena has come back to tie. So while they take a pause and reset, just kind of go around the rings one more time before we go into this final end. On sheet one, the men's B pool game, Team Betts from Wine Country put up a deuce in the seventh to draw within one. It is now Team Howells of Hollywood 7, Team Betts 6. Sheet two is our feature game between Camarena and Feldman. We're all square at 5. On sheet three, a men's A pool game, it is 8-2. Team Mayer from San Francisco over Team Burnt of Hollywood. And then we have a final on sheet 4, the women's B pool game. Team Walsh from San Francisco Bay Area closed it out. They didn't finish the eighth end. It was a final 5-2 over Team Umali of Hollywood. So we this is kind of the exciting where the action is now for this game, as we head into our final ends here, and we're getting sets for the first rock coming from Kate Garfinkel. Camarena's fought to come back, and now they have to steal one more time to close out the win here. Looks like it's over the hog line. It's going to be a high guard, not on the center line. Just as a quick reminder, the no-tick rule is in effect for this tournament, although it needs to be on the center line to actually be part of the no-tick rule. This is the first rock coming from Chris Bilbray. So, comment in the chat about curling in shorts in California Bonneville, and it's like, yes, it is very possible. However, it's been kind of chilly up here in the Bay Area. There's the rain stopped, but it's kind of chilly by the bay. So. We got staggered center guards here, slightly offset as Garfinkel throws her last here in regulation. Yeah, I came from Utah where the highs have been in the 30s or the 40s, and I'm really chilly in this warm room. But it's a pleasure to be here at the Bay Area Curling Club as we see another center guard go up. So it looks like they're probably going to try and keep an open house until the last, and then once they feel it's time to go into the house, then go into the house. Looking at sheet one, it looks like Team Betts put up a single in the eighth end to tie it at 7. So it looks like we're seeing an extra end on sheet A. We'll keep you up to date as that progresses. Looks like Feldman didn't want to go into the house, although it didn't curl around the center guards very much. And so now I think Camarena, pardon me, can do a hit and roll here if they can execute. This is the first coming from Seema Shah. This is her first year of curling, and I think she's been doing really well. It's awesome. Looks like a nice up weight coming. Looks like it's pretty close to staying on target. A little bit of a roll and undercover right on the button. That I would give a 4 out of 4 if we were scoring shots. And as I mentioned in an earlier broadcast, at top level competitions, they do have people scoring shots to give percentages. Those are the percentages that you would see in a TV broadcast. We don't have those here, so we're just kind of left to our own devices to determine how much a shot should be worth. A 4 is a perfectly executed shot that accomplished the goal. A 0 is a total miss, and then there's everything in between. So it looks like I think Feldman wanted to start cleaning up the house here, but it's going to go through the house. That's going to be a miss, unfortunately. And if we were scoring, it would not be a high score. So now Camarena is sitting on the button, and I think this is a situation where they want to try and protect what they have. Maybe put another one in. They have 3.5 minutes remaining, so they got plenty of time. It looks like Feldman now is the one that's a little bit hurting for time. 2 minutes 45 seconds or so. This is going to be a guard more than anything. Maybe if they can kiss off of that center blue, and they do, they make it a little harder for Feldman to get access to the button. I think Feldman does want a clean house, and is asking for her seconds, Melissa McGuire, to do the honors. So clears one of the yellows, or one of the blues, pardon me. Opens up the center slightly. It looks like Camarena wants to try the draw again. And this is going to be the first stone from the third subs. Weight looks better this time. I think they are going to be happy with it being in top of the house. It's going to be a top 8, it appears. Really close to full 8. So maybe perhaps a little deeper than they would have liked, because it does open up the potential of a double, perhaps. Although looking at this view, it looks like they're pretty well covered by the center guards. And so Feldman is kind of looking at both sides of the ice here to see if there's any easy way to get these stones out. And she's settling on clearing, which seems to be... Oh. We paused for a second. But now she's set on it, and here we go. Needs to remove probably 2 of these and have the shooter roll away. So it hits the blue on the outside. And actually not a bad outcome. I think I thought they were going for the center guards, but it does open up a draw path on the right side, at the bottom of the screen of this view. And so that's why Camarena is going to try and block it with Subs' last shot here in regulation. Sweepers are on it. It looks like it's going to over curl into that center pile. I don't think not too bad, and if you can get a little kiss, and they do, it rolls a little wide, and so it does make that draw path a little harder for Team Feldman. It looks like they do the draw now. They have 90 seconds remaining, so there should be plenty of time to get off two more shots. And if they can get a bigger piece of the button, that's going to wreck on the guards. So this is this is a conundrum for Feldman. Because I don't really see an easy path to that shot rock unless they kind of maybe perhaps do like a double on the yellows, and then they would have a pass for like a very upweight hit and stick perhaps for one. That's a possibility. I don't see an easy. I mean, perhaps a draw to the back of the button might be there. It looks like they want to draw into that center pile again. And so here we go. This is Adriana Camarena's first here in the final, and they've played an outstanding second half of this game. Really got back into this game after I think getting shut out in the first four ends. And so looks like a draw. Looks like it's going to be a guard. Crosses the hog line and is settling into just outside the center pile. So Feldman and Sharon are talking it over here. This is a tricky situation. I looks like they're going to try and draw on the other side, the in-turn clockwise side. The out-turn counterclockwise wasn't quite working, and also there's a lot of guards now on that right side. So. Looks like a decent amount of ice. I wonder if it's too much. Because Leanne's got the broom in the middle of the 12-foot, but here we go. This is Katie Feldman's first here with a hammer in the final end of regulation. Sweepers are on it. It looks like the weight's there. It needs to curl up. That's losing a decent amount of weight here. And this could also potentially be a setup shot. One thing I wasn't thinking about is that they could do an in-off where they hit the inside edge of that top yellow that's on our screen, and then angle it to the one on the button. Camarena is calling their timeout to kind of think about what to do there. They're looking at just taking out that yellow, kind of removing any sort of possible danger of the hit and run, the hit and roll. Pardon me. And also, their blue that would replace that yellow would be higher up and probably harder to hit and roll. Pardon me. So just as a heads up, we are going to be back tomorrow morning at around 9 a.m. With more feature play action from Sheet 2. The first game it's going to be all men's group play games, starting with Team Akiyama taking on Team Fleming. At 12:30, we're going to have Team Meyer take on Team Hernandez. At around 4:30, we got Team Burnt facing Sidians, and then our nightcap at 8 o'clock is going to be Team Pomeroy taking on Team Howells. So while they're talking about it, let's check in on see how Team Howells is doing on sheet 1. And on sheet 1, the situation looks to be this is an extra end. Howells does have the hammer, and they are sitting shot rock. So this is kind of interesting here. This is going to be the first from skip bets. Looks pretty good. Oh, I wrecked on the guard. So, so Howells has a pretty good opportunity to put another one in, and they're calling their timeout. So while they call their timeout, let's switch back to our game and see how see what Team Camarena has chosen to do. So they have the shot called. Looks like they're going to try and I think hit that yellow out. So this is Camarena's last, needing to steal to secure the win. So the weight's not there for a hit. It looks like they're guarding, which is also, I think, a good outcome. And I think that path to do an in-off isn't there. I think the angle raise is kind of the only shot that, or the shot that Feldman is going for. It's going to be a high level of difficulty shot there. But we will see if Feldman has it. It's going to be getting the weight just right. It's possible maybe they could run the yellow onto the blue and push the blue out of the way. But here we go. This is the final shot here for Team Feldman. Katie Feldman's last here. Weight needs to be there. And I don't think it's there. It's close. Oh, it just goes by it. So it's a steal of 2 for Team Feldman. Sorry, a steal of 2 for Team Camarena. And Team Camarena has completed the comeback. Being down 5-0 in the first half of the game. The second half of the game was all Camarena as they pull out the win against Team Feldman from Wine Country with a 7-5 win. An excellent game. I'm so glad you guys are here for that. While they are finishing shaking hands, let's go check and see how the last game on the sheet is going. I say the last game on the sheet. That would be the Betts Howells game. So looking at sheet 1 here, looks like Howells put up a tight center guard, making it unlikely for Betts to do a run back here. And so it looks like Betts has settled on a draw. The other game that went final was Team Mayer versus Burnt on sheet 3. It was a 9-3 final in favor of Meyer. So here we go. This is the last rock for Betts. Needs to be sitting shots to make Howells throw his last. Looks pretty close. It's carrying though. Needs to sit down. It's starting to set. I think it's going to be back button or right on the button. So that was a great shot on the part of Betts. And the skip for Team Betts is David Betts. So, and currently out of Wine Country. this looks to have been a Donnybrook of a game, but it's really nice to have this equipment here from San Francisco to have great coverage on our feature sheet game, and then being able to kind of switch over to another sheet with a decent amount of cameras to capture what's happening here. So they think it's up weights. Basically, all Howells needs to do, Garnett Howells needs to do, is make that red go away, but it needs to touch it. It needs to touch it, and it's going to miss it. And so that is going to be a steal of 1 in the extra end. And Team Betts coming, they were ahead, and then Howells took a 3-point lead, and Betts then came back to secure the win in extras. So the really great gameplay all around here. And that's going to do it for us tonight here at the 2023 MoPac Men's and Women's Club Playdowns. We are going to be back tomorrow morning again at around 9 a.m. Pacific with our feature sheet game of Team Akiyama from San Francisco taking on Team Fleming from Coyotes. So please do join us then. For all of us here at MoPac and the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club, this has been your host Ryan saying so long and good curling.